At the beginning of the episode, we see that Basu is in his office sitting and eating watermelon when Jang catches one of his men and brings him there with a knife at his neck. Seeing all this, they get scared. Jang tells them that he is trying to be a good person, but if the boss or anyone else tries to trouble his cousin Shalu, he will not spare anyone. Hearing this, the boss apologizes and promises that he will not trouble Shalu again. He did all this on someone's advice and got paid for it. After this, Jang leaves and Basu tells his people that they will have to find a permanent solution for Jang. They cannot live in fear of him. On the other hand, we see Shalu and Balin sitting together. Shalu tells Balin that she should go to the hotel because Balin is sitting there only. She also mentions that she came here with the hope that Huang would help her in getting the food factory running again. Balin trusted him because she had been working with him for so many years. However, Huang betrayed the people of the factory and attacked Mr. New and Shawl. He could do anything in the future, and they should not have crossed that path and come here. She made a big mistake and now doesn't want to see anyone hurt. Hearing this, Shalu comforts her by placing his hand on her shoulder and says that together they will fix everything. The next day, we see that Shalu has called all his partners to the office because he wanted to announce a new product launched under the food factory and ask for their help in marketing it. This way, he could provide new jobs to the food factory workers and earn a profit. The product was her milk tea powder, specially made by Shalu from her own recipe. He also makes them taste the milk tea and explains how they will now make this milk tea powder inside the factory to earn a lot of profit. Since the product is very good, he just wants everyone to invest money in it. Some people are not ready to invest, so Shalu gives them his word and says that if they face any loss after investment, Shalu himself will pay back all the money, which was a very big promise. Byline also supports Shalu, saying that he has full confidence in the product and is also ready to cover any loss from his side. Hearing this, everyone trusts him and agrees to the deal because Shalu is a very good person, helping the food factory and all the employees. Shalu and Balin are very happy. Next, we see that when Pig Teeth and Dumchar go out, they see Jung, their first boss. Jung shows the locket he is wearing around his neck to Pig Teeth, which was the same necklace he gave to Jung before he went to jail. Seeing this, Pig Teeth is very happy, and Jung is happy that both of them now have jobs and are settled in their lives. The next day, we meet Mr. Hung and the secretary. We see the head where the secretary tells Mr. NG that after his arrival, the factory has started running again, and Balin is calling the workers back to work to produce milk tea powder. Huang is shocked and angry because it was not he who did all this but Balin who wanted to close the factory. He gives a list to Mr. Hung and yells at him, questioning how the workers could go back to work when he wants to close down the factory and fire workers over 50 years old. The secretary is confused when he sees the list, which includes many of his friends who work in the factory. Realizing this, he understands that Huang also favors closing the factory. He goes against her and resigns from his job because he did not want to follow her advice and push his friends out of the factory. So he resigns and leaves. Seeing this, Huang gets very angry. He goes to meet Director B because he had taken permission from the city commissioner to buy all the shares of the factory land, enabling them to sell the factory in their name. Director B tells him to continue, and Director B walks away. But then, Hung's driver notices Guang, who was sitting at a distance, keeping an eye on them. On the other side, we see Balin and Chinchuan together, where Balin is telling Chinchuan the story of a fish that wanted to go from a small pond to the ocean, just like she left Fuching and went to Shanghai. Here she tells how she had always been working in Shanghai so that she could come to a position where no one could bully her, but when she came to Fuching, she realized that she was in ocean. She has reached a Fuching because she was liking a Fuching very much. Then Shan Juan asks her what is going on between her and Shawwal, and Balin should listen to his heart, i.e. accept Shalu once again. But after hearing this, Balin starts smiling and says that she will listen to her heart later. Then San Chan invites her to Guang's birthday and tells how Guang always creates some problem or the other. And Ulu always helps him, and when both of them fight with each other, he also gives in quickly, so Balin and Saul can solve his problem by coming to Guang's birthday. Here we see that Guang is there to talk, where he also offers Guang that if he supports him, then he can stop Shalu from destroying his company because Shalu had merged the shares of his company with the food factory and that food factory was going to be destroyed anyway. This was going to happen, that is, Shalu was going to lose both the food factory and her milk company, to which Guang here answers him that he should not do anything that would hurt Shalu and the factory workers, that is, Huang. But he did not want to let Xiaolu go to Weiss for the byline in this manner, so he accepts Huang's deal here, saying that he will cancel the deal of Xiaolu and Balin by any means. But in return, he will have to give the skating rink part of the plaza he is building on the site of the food factory to Guang, because he wanted to return the favor to Jiang by giving it back. Next, we see that when Jiang was working, Ta brings food for him, and here she tells him about Aang and the director also that they are doing something wrong because she had overheard some of their talks and the boss was also in league with them, due to which she wanted Jiang to stay away from people's fights and call her past and start a new and better life with her. She asked Jiang to go with her to Southeast Asia, where she wanted to open a new hotel, and she wanted to start a new life together where no one would recognize her and she could stay away from her old life and fighting. But Jiang did not want to leave Lu alone and wanted to help her. So he promises her that if Tao finds out what director Juan Washington is planning to do with the factory in Saul, then he will definitely take Saul out of all this and go with him because he loved him very much, and he was not going to leave him now. Hearing that he was going to follow her wherever she went, Tao smiles and agrees to do the job. The next day, we see Guan call all the partners back to the office, where he offers them if they will, in return for all this, he will give them 2 lakh rupees, and in the factory land on which a shopping plaza is going to be built, he promises them to get a shop there at a discount. But none of them agreed to this deal because Xiaolu respects all of them a lot, and they also trust him a lot. Seeing this, Guan does not understand anything. He throws the money he had brought in the suitcase on all of them and says that is why those people are not accepting the easily available money, on which they leave from here saying that for them, Xiaolu's words are valued more than this money, and they also want to terminate Xiaolu's contract. Well, not because he did not want to enjoy his life with that easy money, due to which this plan of Guang fails. On the other hand, we see Mr. Neo and Young, where Young tells everything to Mr. Neo about how Guang and Sharu have separated and have also split the business. The food factory is going to be closed very soon, so she just wanted to leave Mr. New and take him somewhere else with her because she had talked to Chan about it, and he was ready to get Mr. New and Young to move in with him so that he could move out of Fuching and start something new. But Mr. New remains adamant that he was born in Fuching and has contributed to the food factory since childhood. So they can't leave Fuching, and if she wants to go with Ko-chan, then she can go, but actually Young also didn't want to leave from here, so she starts crying because she was very upset with all those things. It was also about to start raining, and Mr. New goes to check the factory, where he sees the boss and some of his people trying to break the statues of the food factory, so Mr. New along with the factory workers tries to stop him, where the boss angrily tells them that all of them are going to be fired from the factory because a commercial plaza was going to be built there in place of the factory. All of them are shocked to hear this, but still they do not trust his words, and they drive away from there. What we can see is that Guang is also watching all these things from a distance from his car. He calls Sung here, but his driver picks up his phone and he lies to her that when Hoong can't talk to him, Gong starts venting out his anger on the driver. He tells him that he did everything on Hoong's orders, so why did Hoong try to hurt the food factory workers? Josh Shinjan is also there to get a berth for him. She hears him coming with the cake. Now she gets very angry that he is involved with Huang, so she leaves from here. She quickly reaches the factory and starts looking for the file that Huang gave to the director. It was signed with B because she could find this file and stop the shares of the factory from being sold. On the other hand, we see that Mr. New is making weapons with Dabao so that he can be the boss or fight the people coming against him. Chen Dekang and other people also come there to help him and save the factory because he could not let the factory go with his hands like this. They all come together to protect the factory. Meanwhile, Shinchen finds the file in Mr. Wang's office, with which she starts running away, but as soon as the drunk driver comes to check the office, he sees Shinchen and tries to stop her. Sun Juan is running away in the rain when the factory statue, which was damaged by a very dry man, falls on top of Shinchan, due to which he gets badly injured, and she is screaming for help. The driver also sees the thing, but he does not help her, due to which Shinchan remains stuck there, but then Mr. Neo and Zeno hear her screaming and come there. Now, Shinchan is taken to the hospital, where all the people in the factory had come to help him and were also donating blood for him. Seeing all this, Guang became very fond of him because of him. His wife, i.e. Shinchan, had got this condition. That's why the doctor came out and tells them that Shinchan is out of danger, but his lower body is paralyzed forever because the statue had fallen directly towards his feet. Hearing this, Guang goes into a frenzy and tries to give a lot of money to the doctor, asking him to do anything to cure his wife because he is still very young. Here he was feeling very guilty because he always keeps running after money, but now money was also of no use to him. He apologizes to Xiaolu and everyone else here because he had betrayed them all. He is also crying a lot here, but no one can do anything, due to which everyone stands quietly. The next day we see Shalu and Bela coming out and talking, where Shalu asks her if she will really see the food factory slowly getting destroyed. She also tells her that he had seen the dream of becoming old in the factory itself, and along with him was Bai Lan, who was still treating people inside the medical room. Shalu wanted all this to never change, but this was just his dream because he had lost to Huang, and now the factory was going to end soon. On the other hand, we see that Director B and Huang are having a meeting where Huang gives a lot of money to Director B because his deal is complete. It was done, and Hung was going to get the shares of the factory. Here the director also gives a suggestion to Hung that he should let Shin-chan do some composition so that they will not be able to go against him again, and we can see that Jung was able to see all these things through the camera installed inside that room, which he did with the help of the leaders so that he could record this meeting and collect evidence against them. The next day we see that an announcement is made in the factory that now nothing is being produced in the factory. Then they will conduct voting among all the workers as to whether the factory should be given to the Shanghai group, i.e. Mr. Huang's company or not, which Balin and Shalu also hear and start thinking. They realize that now all the debts will definitely be given up because Shin-chan had an accident and the factory was also in huge loss, after which Shalu goes to meet Jang, where Jang tells her that he will go on a trip with Tav very soon. But when he is about to leave, Shalu also asks him to go without any tension, on which Jung tells her that whenever he is in trouble, he will definitely come to help him. Hearing this, Shalu is very happy because Jung always used to support him. Now here he asks Saul about Guang, but Saul tells him that he can't find anything about him. So Zhang explains to him that he has to think about where he is at such a bad time. On the other hand, we see that Shin-chan has regained consciousness and Guang is near him. Here he tries to talk to Shin-chan by saying sorry, but she was very angry with him, so she talks about divorcing him. Hearing this, Guang becomes very emotional because he had lost his wife to her, so he tells her that he is ready for divorce, but he will divorce her only when she is completely cured. He tells her that even though they will no longer be husband and wife, they can still remain friends, on which Shin-chan does not give her any answer and goes away crying because he did not want to hurt her further. We see that Shaw comes to the skating rink while searching for Guang, where Guang has drunk too much. He drunkenly tells Shaw how good their friendship was before. They were together without any fight, and Shin-chan too. They used to be such good friends, but Guang ruined everything and now he wants to die. Hearing this, Shalu gets very angry at him and shouts at him that if he loves Shin-chan so much, then he should not let her go now. He should be with him and help him. Then he puts him in his car and takes him to the sea, where he drowns him in water and tries to bring him to his senses whether he really wants to die or not. Guang regains consciousness but becomes very emotional because he destroyed everything. Here we see Balin being told by the doctor that now they should discharge Shin-chan. If they want special treatment, i.e. artificial limbs, they will have to take composition money from the factory so that they can get further treatment done. Here the doctor also suggests to Balin that those people should fight with the leader for compensation and they should not get such easy treatment. After this, we see Shalu and Guang again, still sitting on the beach, where both of them are remembering how they missed the entrance exam together, and then they spent the whole summer with Guang. He traveled around on a bicycle and started a business. He got his own car, but one thing he did not have was happiness. Shalu reminds Guang here that when Shalu came back after running away from Shanghai, how Guang had motivated her. At that time, he only wanted that she could get motivated and start her life in a new way. Here, he was trying to make her understand that no matter what happens, she should always start in a new way. On the other hand, we see that Balin is also giving therapy to Shin-chan. She motivates Shin-chan here that if she tries, she will definitely be able to walk again and there will definitely be movement in her legs. Hearing this, Shin-chan suddenly gets frustrated and starts crying because no matter how hard she tries, she can't feel any movement in her legs, so Balin comes out just by explaining to her that she is her doctor and she will try to get well soon. But after coming out, Balin also starts crying because she knew that Shin-chan's condition is very bad. Next, we see that Wang was trying to leave Fujing because the truth of Director B had come out in front of everyone. He had tried to sell the shares of the factory illegally, and he was also involved in many crimes which were now coming in front of everyone. That is why he was arrested. All of this was possible because of the help of Zhang, because he had also recorded the evidence, gave it to the police, and now the bike was Huang's because he was also involved in all these things. But Boss Hu could not let him leave Fuching so easily because Huang had also implicated him in the crimes. He did not give him any money, so the boss kidnaps Byron so that he can blackmail Huang and get the money, but now Huang only cares about himself. So, he leaves to run away from footing, leaving Byron in trouble. But the boss and his goons come in front of his car and stop it in the parking lot. Then Wang's driver goes to fight with them, which Sean Wine was enjoying while sitting in his car and just laughing. After which we are told how, along with Director B, Boang was also arrested abroad because he was involved with gangsters like Boss and he had tried to do illegal work like sheltering by coming to Fuching. But in all this, Boss would escape from the police. He had a Bailan, which he is now carrying inside an old building when Guang sees him. Guang Wan wanted to take revenge for Shinchan's situation, so he was searching for him for 2 days. Seeing this, Guang immediately goes to Saul. On the other hand, Saul was helping Jiang in packing because Jiang was going to go abroad with Tao. Now both of them are happy, but as soon as Shaw comes to know about Balin's kidnapping, he does not tell all this to Jiang. Instead, he makes an excuse and leaves from there to find Balin. Now Jung was also going with Tao. They were getting ready to leave for the ship, but he asks Tao to reach the ship alone and decides to help Shaw himself, as he knew that Shaw must be in some problem. He promises Tao that he will be there before going to his ship. Both of them will go abroad together, due to which Tao has to agree to his words even if she doesn't want to, and she also becomes very emotional here. Next, we see that Boss Ho was holding Balin when Balin is repeatedly explaining to him that Huan will not come there. Boss Ho says that if Huang will not come there, then he can take his revenge from Lu, because he will definitely come here to save Balin. And in reality, the same thing happens. Shaw reaches there with Guang, and he asks Boss to solve everything peacefully here. But Boss Ho was very angry because all the problems had happened because of Shaw, and since he could not get his payment, he asks for all the money from Shaw. Shaw agrees to give him the money, but then Guang attacks them, due to which they all start fighting here. Then Zhang reaches there. He tells Boss Ho to let all of them go and explains that this is a truce between them, so let Shaw and his friends go. But Boss Ho offers Zhang that he will allow Shaw, Guang, and Balin to leave, but in return Zhang will have to get his finger cut with a knife. Zhang agrees, but when he puts his hand on the table to do so, Boss Ho comes and punches him. Now a fight starts between all these people where they beat Zhang a lot and he gets injured severely. When Shaw was fighting with these people, Boss Ho saw the opportunity and hit him with a chalk. He was about to attack, but Zhang comes in front of him, due to which Shaw is saved, but Zhang gets stabbed. However, he does not tell this to anyone. By then, the police had also reached there because Zhang had already called them for information. She calls him, but Zhang is unable to answer her call. He had an old letter from Tao. After reading it, he was happy to be here because he knew that this was his last time. He remembers her even in that last moment, and while reading the letter, he dies there. She keeps calling him every now and then, and she understands that now Zhang will never come back. She is very sad and cries. After that, we are shown that Boss Ho has now been arrested in a criminal case and he is jailed. A few days later, voting takes place inside the factory, and it was also the day of Mr. New's retirement. All the people vote to sell the factory land, but Shaw and everyone celebrate Mr. New's farewell very happily because a notice had come from the government. Even after the closure of the factory, the workers who had worked for the factory will definitely be given compensation and their investment money, and they will be helped in the future as well. With this decision, everyone is very happy. Shaw and Balin were talking about what they are going to do next. Shaw tells her that he will take his business forward, and when he gets many chain stores built, he will hire factory workers to help them. Then Balin also tells him about her plans, that she will now go back abroad and will study hard again so that once again she can make a new start. Both of them now go inside the same restaurant where they had earlier decided to go to Shanghai for one last meal before parting ways. There they decided to eat steak at 80. This was the same dish which Shaw had once ordered in front of Balin's friends, but they could not eat it. So they decided to eat this dish today. When they try it, they thought that even the chef here will refuse to make the dish, but the chef agrees to make this dish here. They come to know that once in a year, a customer asks them to make it every time. Shaw is a little surprised to hear that and eats the dish. He also shares with Balin that he has received a lot of orders for Millie Powder from a fan too, on which Balin tells him that she knew Shaw would convince Afin because if she had been in Afin's place, she would have definitely flirted with him. Now both of them come out of here and go on their respective ways and get separated because Balin was leaving Fujing. But then the waitress of the restaurant comes out and calls Shalu. She gives a letter to Shalu and tells him that some person used to come to this restaurant every year and used to leave this letter for her, seeing which Shalu gets very confused. But when he reads those letters, he comes to know that the letters were from Layan, and on every birthday she used to come alone to the same restaurant and order that dish. She used to hope that one day Shalu would definitely come here, That is why she used to wait for him here every year on her birthday. He was also a chef. Di used to make it specially for her once a year. After reading it, Shalu understood that Balin still loved her and that she always liked him and waited for him, but he could never understand this thing. Because of this, he becomes very emotional and runs back to Balin where they kiss each other and become very emotional. After which Balin leaves from here, and then we go straight to 1 year later. Let's see the scene where Young and Chan were about to get married. Everyone was very happy and Shinjin had also recovered. That is, now she had slowly learned to walk again. Chalu is here waiting for Balin. Only then the time comes for Chan and Yan to go on stage where Chan was going to give a speech in front of everyone, but he forgot to bring the speech paper. So he plays a song written by him to everyone which was called Young Babylon. This song was written about his friends and Master Nu and everyone else. As he starts singing here, everyone starts remembering their past members. When Shara remembers how, when he was with Guava on Jaws, he thought about how many fights he had and how he met Balin, he becomes very happy remembering all this. Then he says, "I love you" to Chan Young in front of everyone and they both get married. Everyone there was very happy. Balin also comes there who was recording everything, after which they all go to the seaside where Guang proposes to Shinjin just like the day he proposed to her inside the factory. She is very happy to see that he came and proposed to her by playing music, and she wears the ring given by him, which means that now everything has been resolved between them two. Shalu is also here now, reminding Balin that the day he was helping Gawan to propose to Shinjin was the same day he met Balin, where Balin holds his hand and tells him that that day was the best for her too because she met him that day. Now all these people are remembering the past days, imagining their old life in front of them, how they used to enjoy together. In the end, they were all together, seeing which everyone was very happy, and Shalu was remembering the war here. Because perhaps without her, he would not have been able to reach here. But in the last scene of the drama, we see that Shalu is inside the train and he wakes up from his sleep where he is in his factory dress and has a bailane in his hand. He comes to know from the uncle sitting in front that this train is going from Fujing to Shanghai and he is going to reach Shanghai in 30 minutes. Hearing this, he gets a little confused, and then the uncle tells him that he was sleeping the entire way, and looking at him it seemed as if he was dreaming for a very long time because he had been smiling in his dreams for a long time. Hearing this, Shalu understands that he is still in his 90s. He is going to give Balin his personal information file so that he can get admission to the university. And as for whatever happened till now, he was only imagining it in his dreams because he always thought of his future with Balin, which meant that whatever mistakes Shalu had committed in the past, he could correct them now, and his mom and Jing were also still alive. Knowing all this, he becomes very happy and says to himself that he will help Balin. He will express his feelings and both of them will spend a very good life together. With this happy ending, this drama ends here. So guys, this was today's video and I hope you guys liked this drama very much. If so, please subscribe to our channel for more such videos. See you again in the next interesting drama. Till then, goodbye.